Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back. Today I want to make a video. We're going to make it fun. I'm actually going to make a beat with you guys while we talk about this topic. And it's going to be about file structure. Just kind of organizing the files, how I have my files organized on my SD card. I think this is very important to understand, especially when we're just getting started with a piece of hardware or software, because it sucks building a track or building a beat and the next day you come back and you turn it on and some files are missing or you don't know where everything's at. It's just a headache and it's no longer creative. Now you're just dealing with a bunch of where is this kick at or where is the snares at. You don't want to be thinking about that when you're in a creative state of flow. So the best thing to do is create a good file structure so you know where everything's at. So real quick right now, I'm going to create an empty track and I'm actually going to build a track with you guys as I'm showing you guys how I have my files and my samples saved onto my SD card. As you guys know already, I use the SD card that goes right inside right here. I don't use the USB or an external hard drive. I don't know why. I love the SD card. Is just right there. I don't have to worry about plugging anything else in. Some people have said that the SD cards will jack up on you or lose files. I'm not sure what SD cards you guys are using, but the one that I use has never failed on me, and I'll show you guys which one is the one that I'm using. This is the SD card that I use. This is the SanDisk Pro. I will leave a link to this SD card down in the description if you guys are interested. These SD cards are durable, they're cheap, and they will not fail you. Just make sure you format your SD card on your MPC so the SD card is just recognized with the MPC. Another thing that I am going to mention is whenever you use the SD card for your files and your samples, do not use that SD card for anything else other than your samples on your MPC One. So I'm not saving no photos on my SD card. I'm not saving any personal documents on this SD card. This is just for samples and saving my projects onto the SD card, and that is it. The only other reason why I take this SD card out is when I'm gonna load samples on here or I'm gonna export beats into my Ableton session. That is it. Other than that, this thing lives in my MPC One. This is actually another SD card, but yeah, this is the one we're using that's in here. I'm actually gonna leave this right here just because it looks cool, and I don't know, I'm gonna leave it right there. So let me show you guys how I have my SD card organized. So if I go to browse and I go to places, I go to my samples, that's what I named this SD card. So I just have it called my samples because that's where I have everything. And in my SD card, I have, these are my parent folders. This is like the main folders that I have. My folder 1, I have samples. That's where I contain all my drums, my one-shots, anything that has to do with samples. It's in my first folder on the SD card. I created a second folder, and the second folder here are my beats. So whenever I'm creating a beat and I like what I hear and I want to save the beat, I save it on this folder. So folder 2 is where I'm saving all my beats, and folder 3 is where I have all my export stems. So whenever I'm done with the beat and I feel very happy with it and I want to continue this beat in Ableton, I go ahead and save my stems, my separate audio stems. And when I save those separate audio stems, I'll save them into this folder, export stems. That's kind of how I have it organized. This folder down here is my synths folder. Ignore that for right now. I actually have to replace that somewhere else. But usually these are my 3 folders: samples, my beats that I'm saving, and my export stems, and that's it. Now, in my samples folder, if I click samples, in here, I have a bunch of different folders, but all these folders are actual sample packs. The folder number 1, I have splice. So in splice are all of my different splice packs or sample packs that I've downloaded from splice that I put them into my splice subfolder. So if I click on this, you'll see a bunch of different subfolders that are folders within folders and folders, which it could get a little confusing, but I like to have them all organized. The cool thing about this update that I'm very happy about now, if you guys want to look for a kick, you guys don't have to go through every subfolder. Now you could just hit splice and you go to the search directory, and let's say I just want to put, or let's say I want to look for a drum loop. Just go to loop. And anything that I've downloaded from Splice that has the keyword loop on there, it already just narrows down my search to everything in that splice folder that has the word loop on there. So let's say like on this first folder, I click on it, there's loops right here. Let's hear them. That's cool. So it makes it so much easier and so much faster. Let's say I'm going to load that loop. I'm going to put it in pad 1. I'm going to hit load. So let's go back and let's go into samples again. And if I go into splice, I'm going to just hit kick, or type in kick right here, hit do it. Now I'm seeing all the kicks from all my sample packs that I've downloaded from Splice. So if I just want to listen to different kicks, random kicks from my decap folder or my lo-fi hip-hop drum loop folder, it's just going to give me everything that has the keyword kick on it. So I'm going to listen to a few of them. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm going to load that into this pad right here. And this is just becoming very easy to look for different sounds. Now, actually, let's go back and I'm going to just go into my samples folder, click that, and I'm going to just type in snare. Now it's filtering out everything with the keyword snare in there, and I'm going to just go through and pick out a snare. Let's say I like that one. I'll put it on this pad, hit load, and now it lives right there. Cool. So that's how I've been going through and looking for my samples, which has been very fast and very convenient. So we're back right here in our session. As you guys can see, I have not saved this session yet. I haven't done anything. I just loaded up some drum shots right here. I haven't done anything. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like what I'm going to do right now. We're going to put something together, something really quick, not too complicated. But I'm going to show you guys as I'm putting a beat together. I'll show you guys how I save it on the SD card. Make sure you guys follow the links down, the timestamps, just so you guys can skip over if you guys don't want to watch me make a beat. But I'm going to do something really quick. I have this drum loop right here that we loaded onto this first pad. I'm going to go ahead and just lay that down. That drum loop, if we go to sample editor, we'll see that drum loop, since I got it from Splice, they name all their samples, or they name all their files, and they have, if you're downloading a loop, they'll have the beats per minute. So this one's at 90 beats per minute, that drum loop, which the session is at 90 beats per minute. It's at a 2-bar drum loop. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down on the first downbeat. Cool. So I have a drum loop right there, and now I'm actually going to sample something in here. I'm going to go to my sampler. All right, so I'm going to sample this into the MPC, since this is a bunch of like quarter notes being hit. I'm going to use a slice method, so every time I hit a pad, it's going to slice a chop for me. So excuse me, I am going to skip through this part because I don't want to get a copyright strike from YouTube. So we'll listen to it right now once I'm done sampling it. All right, so we got the sample right there, and I'm gonna name this chops, hit do it, and I'm gonna go to edit. Once I'm in edit, I'm on trim right now. It automatically throws me on trim. I'm gonna go to chop, and I'm gonna listen to what I sampled in here real quick. All right, cool. There's some decent chops right there. As you guys saw earlier, we started with a drum break, and I like to lay down a simple 2 to 4 bar drum break, just because right now, as I have these chops already, now I'm feeling inspiration. I'm feeling that itch right now, and I'm like, man, this sounds really cool. So I already have a 2-bar drum loop playing in the background. It's something pretty basic that I got, but still, it allows me to focus on creativity versus, oh shoot, let me save this and now let me create a 2-bar drum loop. No, I can go ahead and just hit play, because remember, we recorded that 2-bar drum loop already on the sequence. So when I hit play, I can already start playing with these chops as I'm listening to this, and if I have to do some edits on the spot, I can go ahead and do those edits because I'm getting a better representation of what I'm going to do with this beat. So let's go ahead and play around with this. yeah. So I already kind of have like an idea right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and create this, and I'm gonna hit Shift Convert. I'm gonna create this into a new program. Hit Do It. Go to my main menu. On track 1, we have our drums. And make sure you guys name your tracks. I'm gonna name this DRMs program. Make sure you name your programs also. This is our drum programs. And I'm gonna go to track 2, and this is gonna be my chops. Hit Do It, and down here in programs, if you scroll through, there you go. There's my chops, because I created that drum program right now. Yeah. So now I have my chops. I have some drums. I'm going to go to Program Edit, and I can mess around with the master pitch if I want to pitch this down a few semitones or pitch it up and just come up with something creative. So let's hear how it sounds pitched down. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and lay that down. That's cool. Now, if you want to get kind of crazy with it, I like these chops. They're kind of like staccato sounds, so it could sound pretty dry. So I'm going to go ahead and add some reverb to these chops. So let's go to my track mix, and on my track mix, I'm gonna put a reverb on my return. So where it says programs, I'm on programs right now. I wanna go to my return. So scroll through till it says returns. On my return 1, I'm gonna add a reverb. Go to reverb, and I'm gonna go to this air verb. I don't know, hopefully it sounds good. Go in here, make sure your mix is at 100. Just go to time. I'll put it like at a 2-second decay. All right, now if we go back to our mixer, let's go from returns back to our programs. Now I want to add that reverb on my chops program that we created. So if we select the chops program, we'll hit where it says send right here. We put the reverb on send 1. So we're going to click it till it's on send 1. It's the first dot. Click that and click it as a button with your jog wheel. Pop that open, and as I'm hitting these slices, I'm gonna adjust the volume till I feel it sounds right. Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Now we're gonna add some grit to those chops because they sound too clean. On the chops, if we go to inserts, we're gonna insert. I don't know. Let's mess around with these new plugins that we got. Dynamics. Go to harmonics. Let's try this diode clipper. I don't know. I haven't really played with it as much, but let's hear it. Ooh. Yes. Yeah, that sounds pretty crazy. I like how that sounds. Real quick, since I'm kind of feeling the beat. If I wasn't feeling the beat, I would probably just turn off my MPC and not save it. But since it's actually sounding pretty cool, I'm going to go ahead and save it. And I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that and where I'm going to save it on my SD card. So if you guys are liking what you hear, you hit Shift Save. We're going to hit that. And now it pops open this window saying, where do I want to save the beat? And I'm going to save it on my SD card. So it's in my samples SD card is called my samples. And in my SD card, remember I have this folder called beats. Click it. And in here, I have a bunch of beats that I've saved. Now, the way I save my beats is I'm not going to go ahead and just hit save. I'm going to create a folder, a new folder within that folder, and I'm going to name it, I don't know, pool. I don't know. All right, cool. And I'm going to name this pool. And now I'm saving the beat within the folder called pool. Hit save, and now it's saved in that folder. So now I want to just continue this beat, and you guys already know on my track 1, I'm going to lay down the one-shot kick. I'm going to throw that in the sequence real quick, and I'm only going to add that kick every now and then. So let's do that real quick. The reason why I'm adding this one-shot to the drum loop is because I want to add mother ducker or the sidechain compression to my chop samples. But in order for me to add sidechain compression to that sample, I need to trigger it with the kick. And I need an actual kick in here. I can't do it with that drum loop because that drum loop is everything in one. It's the whole entire drum loop. So it's not going to work out the way I want it to. So let's go ahead and just layer that kick on top. Let's go to pad mix because that kick is very loud. So I want to lower down the volume of that kick, not of the drum break, just that kick. So I'm going to go to shift, pad mix. Once I'm on pad mix, I'm going to look for that kick. And let's lower down that volume. Cool. So I want to add mother ducker input to that pad, not the program. I want to add it just to that pad. So as you guys can see over here in the upper corner is selected on the 4 pads or the 4 squares. I want to get off of that because that means that I'm selecting my program. I want to just go to the single pad, and now I'm only selecting a single pad to add insert on. So in this case, I'm going to select my kick and go here, and I'm going to add, go to dynamics, let's add mother ducker input. And now I'm going to go to my samples or my chops, and on my chops I want to add mother ducker to the entire program. So make sure you're not on the single pad, make sure you're on the 4 squares. And on here, let's add mother ducker, scroll down, boom. We hit the little pencil icon so we can adjust it as we hit play. All right, cool. The only thing that I don't like is on track 1, I have this kick that I want to get rid of. I don't like this kick, so I'm going to hit this. I'm going to get in here, select that kick, shift, cut, and I'm only going to add that kick on the downbeat of the bar. That's cool, but it's only 2 bars and it's too repetitive, so I want to get off of those 2 bars. I'm going to go where my sequence section is up here, and I'm going to hit the little pencil icon. I'm going to go from 2 bars. I'm going to double the length, so now it is, oh, what happened? No, hit undo. It was, oh, it's because I hit half length. So yeah, hit 2 bars. So now it's 4 bars. Click that, hit double again. Actually, we'll leave it at 4 bars. And now I'm going to go to my sample chops. I'm going to delete everything that I did right here because I'm going to do something new. Boom, shift, cut, and let me listen to what we're going to add. Yeah, all right, let's add that. That's cool. Now let's add a bass on top of that. So we'll go to track 3 and let's name this bass. Oh. And let's create a new program and we'll name this program bass. And I'm gonna go on my browser and I'm gonna listen or hear some bass hits that we can find. So I'll go to places, we'll go to my SD card, go down to samples, and actually well, right here, I'm just gonna hit bass. This is just a bunch of bass samples that I have stored in that folder. So if you guys saw what I just did, I'm playing back the beat and I'm listening to different bass samples that I have. Not all of them are going to sound good because they're different pitch, but whatever sounds closest to the sample that I have on the sequence, that's what I'm going to select. In this case, this sample was the closest one. Now, what makes it really easy, especially on this new update, is now that it detects the key for you. So if we go back to our sample and we see our chops, let's go to Program Edit and go to Sample, and you can see now what key these chops are in. They're in F. As you guys can see, it shows it right there. So now I know I have to tune my bass hit to an F. So if I go back to my bass, and let me get off of one shot. So if we go to samples, we go to semitone, I'm gonna pitch it down till I'm on F. There it is. Woo. So now the beat or the bass is in tune with the sample and it does an amazing job. So now I have a bass that's in key and I can use that with the beat, and I'm gonna grab that bass and I'm gonna go to 16 levels. And I'm going to leave it on type. It's on tune. And the original pad is going to be A4. Hit close. So now, let's see if we can come up with something. One more time. That sounds good. That sounds pretty good. And now I go ahead and Shift S for save, or Shift save, and I'm saving this onto my SD card. That sounds really good. You guys can do whatever you guys want. In this point, you guys can go ahead and hit the sequence, hit the little pencil icon. I'm in 4 bars right now, but if I want to kind of structure this into a song, I would, me personally, you guys can do whatever you guys want, but I would double the length. Now if I go to main, I'm at 8 bars. Actually, let me go to 16 bars. So now I'm at 16 bars. I can go right here to my sequencer, and let me get a better view of this. This is my bass. Let me go to my drums. If I go to my drums, and if I want to select my first bar, zoom in right here. We're looping now the first bar. Actually, I want to do my first 2 bars as my intro. So in the first 2 bars, I don't want no drums at all. So now it's just going to come in like this. That's cool. Now, if I want to, for example, say my first 4 bars is just that loop that we had on my chops, but let's say my next 2 bars, I want to switch the variation of the sample. So now I'm selecting these bars. I go back to my sample chops, and I'm going to do something different right here. So let me zoom in on these bars right here. And excuse me if this seems kind of confusing, but I'm going to do something different on this section only. Let me see. Oh. You guys can do whatever you guys want at this point. You guys can select a different section and work on a different bar and try some different variation and just do different cuts and build a song like that. That's how I've been doing it as of lately. Again, I'm not saying this is the right or wrong way to do it. It's just the way I've been doing it. I've been having fun working with small sections like that and building a song in that manner right there. Another thing you guys can do is just build a 4-bar drum loop, export it into audio stems, put it in your SD card, and pop that sucker in Ableton and do all your bridges, your chorus, all the breaks in Ableton, which would be much faster and more convenient. That's pretty much it, guys. Excuse me if this video went super long, but I really wanted to show you guys how I'm building tracks on the MPC One. That right there is a workflow video for you guys from start to finish. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up if you guys took some value out of this video, and also subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Thank you guys. Much love. I'll catch you guys on our next video.